You've just launched your first ad campaigns and you're ready to watch the sales roll in. Now what? In this video, I'll show you 5 ad optimizations to make to your campaigns to get the most out of your ad spend without breaking the bank. When it comes to Amazon ads, it's not set it and forget it. Seasonal changes, new competition entering the market, rising CPC costs. There's a lot constantly changing you need to keep up with if you are to hit your ACOS goals. And the best way to do that is by fitting regular campaign optimizations into your routine. This video will be split into 2 parts. We'll start by going over each of the 5 ad optimizations in this video for part 1, and then dive into 3 different ways you can perform each of the optimizations in part 2. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the second part. Before we start, you'll also need to be familiar with target ACOS or target ACOS. If you don't know what that is or you haven't set your own target ACOS, pause the video before going any further and check out the link in the description for choosing your ideal ACOS. Throughout these videos, I'll also be using the term targets. A target is the most granular level of your campaigns and where your bids are set. For automatic campaigns, these are the targeting groups: close match, loose match, complements, and substitutes. And for manual campaigns, it's your keywords, product targets, and category targets. For most of these optimizations, you'll be analyzing and optimizing at the target level, not the campaign or ad group level. The first optimization we make is for increasing bids on high-performing targets. This is any target with at least 2 orders that's also below your target ACOS. Since they're below our target ACOS, we have some room in our cost per click to raise bids and win more auctions, getting better ad placements, more impressions, more clicks, and ultimately more orders. For targets that have an ACOS that's close to your target ACOS, it's a good idea to have a target ACOS buffer so you're not messing with a good thing that's already working. You can subtract 2 to 5% from your target ACOS to act as your buffer. So if your target ACOS is 25%, you would use a filter for any targets that are less than 20 to 23% instead of your target of 25%. A 30-day date range is a good rule of thumb for most optimizations, including this one. However, if your campaigns aren't generating much order data, you may need to extend this range out to 60 days. And if your campaigns are getting a lot of orders, you can use an even shorter range like 7 to 14 days. And if you're in a period of really high sales volatility, such as right after the holiday buying period has ended, you may need to use an even shorter range, such as 3 to 7 days. For any targets that meet our high performance criteria, we want to slowly increase bids on those targets. A 10% increase per optimization is what we generally recommend. Small bid changes can still have a large impact on your ACOS and performance, so we want to make sure we're not going overboard on how often and by how much we're changing bids, and that we're still collecting enough data to reflect those new bid changes. This optimization does have the possibility of runaway bids for any targets that have a low ACOS that have CPCs that don't increase with an increased bid. You can optionally add a filter to this optimization so that the only bids you're changing are ones that are below a max bid that you set for yourself. Next, we want to lower bids on any targets that have an ACOS that's above our target ACOS that also have at least a couple orders. The same ACOS buffer from our previous optimization applies, however this time you'll add 2 to 5% to your target ACOS. The date range you'll use to look at the data is also the same, with 30 days being a good rule of thumb and increasing or decreasing that based on your order volume and sales volatility. One difference with optimizing your low performers versus your high performers is that it can be a good idea to stagger how much you're decreasing your bids based on how far away the target is from your target ACOS. The further away it is from your target ACOS, the more you'll decrease the bid. For example, let's say our target ACOS is 25%. Any targets between 30 and 40% will decrease bids by 10%. Targets between 40 and 50% will decrease by 15%. And for any targets that are above 50%, we'll decrease their bids by 20%. Remember, small incremental changes are the name of the game. We don't want to make too many changes too fast or by too much so that we don't throw anything too far out of whack. These low performers are still generating orders, just at a more expensive level than we'd like. So we don't want to lower bids by so much that we just stop getting impressions on them. This optimization has two parts, each with different filters: pausing targets with 0 orders and pausing targets with a single order. This optimization is to prevent wasted ad spend on targets that are getting clicks, but not really converting to sales. In order to get the most data points, as well as ensure you're not turning off a winning campaign that's just in a temporary slump, we want to use a longer date range, such as 90 days. This is the maximum date range that you can use inside of Amazon's ad console. If you're a Merchstar user, you can use an even longer date range, including up to the entire lifetime of your campaign data. Or you can set up a recipe inside of Merchstar that looks at both a recent date range and the lifetime order data of a target. That way you're guaranteed you're not pausing a target that you may be better served by lowering the bid instead. For this optimization, a filter for 20 to 40 clicks without an order is a good rule of thumb for targets to be placed on the chopping block. The more clicks you get before turning off a target, the more confident you can be that you're not turning off a potential winner. Targets that tend to have lower conversion rates or that target hundreds or even thousands of search terms, such as your automatic campaign targeting groups or your broad match keywords, you'll want to lean on the side of having more clicks before you pause them versus tighter targeting or higher conversion rate search terms like exact match and product targets. Additionally, if you want to reduce your potential spend while you're testing new targets, you can lower the bids on those targets before they reach your click threshold for pausing. For example, if you normally pause a target once it reaches 40 clicks, you can lower the bid once that target reaches 20 clicks and then again at 25 and so on, so that you reduce the amount you're spending on each click while you're testing. Pausing single order targets works just like pausing 0 order targets, except with a higher click threshold before you pause. Our goal is to find targets that are validated through getting multiple orders and not just a fluke sale. We're halfway there on these targets, so we want to make sure we're giving them enough of an opportunity to get that second sale. You should at least double the number of clicks for your threshold from your 0 order target optimization. That means if you normally pause a target at 40 clicks, you would wait until you had at least 80 clicks, if not more, before you pause a target with only 1 order. You can also optionally add an ACOS filter to this optimization to account for your ad spend. That way you can collect even more data on any targets that have a low cost per click. You can also use the same strategy from your 0 order optimization, where you lower the bids on a target with 1 order before it reaches your click threshold to pause and reduce your potential ad spend. In this optimization, you're looking at how your individual ads are performing rather than how the targeting of your ads are performing, and then pausing any low performing ads. This is the only optimization that you won't be optimizing at the target level. We recommend only performing this optimization on any of your campaigns that have multiple ASINs or ads inside it, such as your lottery campaigns, not on your single ASIN campaigns. Your single ASIN campaigns are effectively optimized through your bid adjustments and pausing of targets from the other optimizations here, so this optimization is not needed for those. Since all of the ads inside of an ad group share the same targeting and bids, pausing low performing ads is our only option. 15 to 30 clicks is a good rule of thumb before pausing an ad. Leaning on the side of more clicks, the broader your targeting is. The last optimization is increasing the number of impressions on low or no impression targets. In this step, we want to get any targets that aren't being shown or shown often to win more auctions through increased bids. There's a lot of flexibility in how often you run this optimization and the filters you use for it. What would be considered low impressions for a target can vary pretty greatly from the product type to the search term targeting and the category. We recommend using 0 impressions or a really low number like 25 until you can get a feel for the number of impressions you should be seeing for your situation. For brand new campaigns, you'll likely want to use this optimization every few days and less frequently for established campaigns. For example, if you're simply trying to increase your ad spend. No matter the filters and frequency you use, slow and steady is still the name of the game. Incrementally increasing your bids until you start getting impressions on your targets. Runaway bids are again a possibility for this optimization. For whatever reason, some targets won't be shown no matter what you set your bid at. You can use an optional max bid filter to prevent never-ending bid increases for this optimization. That concludes part 1 of the 5 optimizations you should be doing every week. If you got any value out of this video, do me a favor and hit that like button. In the next part of this video, I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can make each of the 5 optimizations. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss part 2.